View starts right now with your hosts, Anthony Russo,
Stephanie Calise, Giselle Martinez,
and Chris Pilato. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the Lakeside View.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Lakeside View alongside my co-hosts Chris Pilato, Giselle Martinez, and Stephanie Calise. We are so excited to be back and we have a power-packed show for you. So let's get underway. A pair of White House officials played a role in providing the Republican chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, with the intelligence reports that showed that President Trump and his associates were incidentally swept up in foreign surveillance by American spy agencies. The revelation that White House officials insisted in the disclosure of the intelligence reports, which Mr. Nunes then discussed with President Trump, is likely to fuel criticism that the intelligence chairman has been too eager to do the bidding of the Trump administration while his committee is supposed to be conducting an independent investigation of Russia's meddling in the last presidential election. Mr. Nunes has also been faulted by his congressional colleagues for sharing the information with President Trump before consulting with other members of the Intelligence Committee. What do you guys make of what's going on here?
Well, I want to know the main reason why. Why is he talking to Trump before he's talking to his own committee members? Those are the people who are supposed to know the things first. They have their own conference room to talk about secret things that no one else is supposed to know. So for him to go out of his way to go talk to Trump before he even tells his committee members, that's ridiculous to me. I feel like if it's not illegal, it's definitely unethical, and he should not be able to do that. And I feel that it came that White House officials were giving them these reports. So is this fabricated, or is this like evidence I can actually trust, or is this just something to get his name cleared? So I don't know if we can actually trust these new reports or not, because like who's to say they didn't just want to clear his name right now?
I think when I was looking up this article, when I was just skimming it, there was just words that were popping out of him being like depicted as like a funny guy or like a weird guy. He's like, it's quote unquote like he's an overaged goofball, or he's compared to the Pink Panther, or like it's and then I was like, what's going on? And then I was reading it as a serious note and I was like, this is really not okay. Mm-hmm. Like, how is this legal for someone who is like investigating Trump to go and tell him? Like, if he was like a PI, you wouldn't go and tell the person you were like looking at that, hey, I'm watching you. Like, that's not how it goes. Like, I don't understand like how he's allowed to do that. Like,
he's telling the person he's investigating about the evidence about him. It's very odd to me. It's an odd situation.
My biggest concern is why isn't he being like put to charge or like fired or like penalized something? They're not doing anything about it. Like, it's not being brought, like it's kind of being brushed under the table, like you mentioned before. And yeah, like someone needs to do something about that, because it's just going to get worse, obviously. Like, there's obviously other things that he's going to him about, and no one knows about it, and it's just going to get swept on the table more and more, and it's just going to be a bigger issue.
It's also more troubling because it's about like Trump's relations to Russia and that whole situation on how Russia had involvement in the election and how they're in cahoots now, and like it's just like every time Russia keeps coming up, it's just either attached to Trump or like just swept under the rug.
Yep.
I think the biggest thing with just this entire Trump-Russia situation is there needs to be an independent, nonpartisan prosecutor or committee, whatever,
100%.
somebody that just will look at everything, because it seems like we can't trust anybody anymore.
Yeah.
No.
The FBI director's question, his ties to Trump and his, partisanship. We can't even trust the FBI. I mean, we need somebody that can just be down the middle and just give us the facts and tell us, is there something here or not?
Absolutely.
We now move on to Brexit. Britain's departure from the EU is, quote, a historic moment from which there can be no turning back. That's what Prime Minister Theresa May has said, and she was speaking after Britain's EU ambassador formally triggered the 2-year exit process by handing a letter to EU Council President Donald Tusk. Mr. Tusk said it was not a happy day for him or the EU, and the European Parliament warned security cooperation was not on the table as it fired its opening salvo into what are expected to be tough negotiations. In her letter to Mr. Tusk, triggering Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, Ms. May said failure to reach a trade deal within the 2-year time limit could weaken cooperation in the fight against crime and terrorism. What does Article 50 mean for our relationship with the United Kingdom?
Well, with the relationship to the UK, for us, I feel I'm not really positive on how it's going to affect our relations, but within the UK and the EU, the negotiations, someone has to, bulge. Like there has to be someone saying, okay, we will negotiate security and trade. There can't just be no negotiations, because I feel at that point something bad can happen, maybe even a war, if there is no negotiation at all, because they're saying they don't want to negotiate with them. So how can you just leave without any negotiations? I feel that can be very problematic to them. And also, I also want to say, like, when people voted for Brexit, I don't think they entirely knew what they were voting for, because in the UK, the highest Google search was, what is Brexit? So after they voted for Brexit, they looked up, oh, what actually did I vote for?
What is
so I also feel like now the people who didn't know what they actually voted for are feeling the repercussions of it. It's very sad for them, but unfortunately they did it, so they have to, play their bets.
This is a trend that's been happening nationwide, starting with us. We're like the biggest culprits of this, like with Make America Great Again. Like that's our whole deal. It's just like us being with ourselves and like dealing with our issues and making our own money, doing our own thing type of thing. It's been a whole national issue forever that we jump from country to country to country, and every country gets involved with other countries. That's why there's the UN, the EU, and stuff like that. And I understand why they want to condense themselves and like do their own thing. Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna just do me and we'll see how it happens. That's the type of vibe that I'm getting from this.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like the fact that it's even an issue like that's brought, like we're talking about it, like no, let's talk about what we need to fix. Yeah. So I completely agree with Stephanie. I think it's something that they need to just like deal on their own, and if they need to like separate themselves, like to fix themselves, then by all means, as long as it's done in a manner where there's no
it's
like
malicious or anything.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. The Britain wants to be, as you said, kind of like us. They want to worry about themselves. They want to put themselves above the interests of, our allies and other countries. And it's important that
we can't blame them.
Try to well, that's
it's just
important
going to
you try
be a
to
really
take care
big
of
adjustment because we've been attached and connected to many countries forever.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's such a culture shock, and I think that's why people are now realizing the real repercussions of what actually happened. Well, coming up next, we will be talking about the controversies surrounding Bill O'Reilly and what does transracial mean. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey yo, it's your boy, Dan Ryan, proud crew member of WTOP 10. Thanks for watching.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Hey, 7 o'clock. Let's put on a Sabres game.
You silly stinker. 7 o'clock means it's time for the Rangers.
Hey, broccoli head. The Sabres got a big game. They're trying to go for a playoff spot. All right, hey, Dumb and Dumber, settle this later. For right now, we're gonna watch the Ducks. Tune into the playing field.
Welcome back to the Lakeside View. Bill O'Reilly's critique of Representative Maxine Waters' hair Tuesday has sprouted a Twitter uproar. Hashtag Black Women at Work quickly blew up on Twitter after he publicly disrespected Representative Maxine Waters, the most senior African-American woman in Congress. The hashtag brought women's stories of systematic, widespread, and routine discrimination rushing to the surface. Let's take a look at this clip.
But they turned a blind eye to the destruction that he's about to cause this country. You're not nearly as patriotic as we are.
So what does that mean, Bill? We've been listening all morning. We cannot.
I didn't hear a word she said. I was looking at the James Brown wig.
What did we make of that clip?
Well, I think at first he's just saying because of her hair, he can't respect her in a way. That's what he's saying. He's like, because of what her hair looks like, I'm not going to listen to you. And to me, it's very disheartening. I feel that's, although he's very controversial, he has so many controversies.
No, what? He's controversial?
Yes, surprisingly.
I don't believe
I
it.
have two things to say.
Two?
Okay.
Go for it.
I mean, let me just start off by saying Bill O'Reilly and is just like everything that Fox News is, all the stereotypes against Fox News, like he's kind of the reason why. As a joke, I typed in Fox News is on Google and it was Fox News is fake news, bad, propaganda, like it's just so funny.
I see a pattern.
It's just really funny. The other thing is that on a serious note, it's just like, I understand why there's such speculation over this because women are minorities in general, and just being a minority and a woman is like extra, people are more self-conscious, like the more attention brought to it.
And it's hard to get recognition.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
especially in a workplace, like there's very different, vibes that go on being a woman in a workplace in general, and then having someone just like make a joke out of it. Yeah. It's kind of like disheartening in a way.
And I personally dislike him.
Keeping it mild.
Yeah, very mild. And I just feel like he has just no respect for people in general.
I agree.
Like,
he gives off a very full of himself vibe, I feel like,
I'm not sure exactly what he said. I know he apologized somewhat afterwards. Yeah. But even throughout the televised part where they had the split screen with him and
her speech.
Yeah, her speech. He was mouthing and I'm like, that's just disrespectful.
100%.
Obviously your reasonings for that are just wrong. I can't with
more than anything, I don't understand the insult. The James Brown wig.
I don't see the resemblance.
I don't see why. Why did you have to say that? Why that was so irrelevant to what they were even talking about? Or
he just has to say something.
Yeah.
Like if you just said bad wig, all right, maybe it's because it's a wig, but James Brown, that, I don't see the connection.
And again,
that's
to
just me.
what Stephanie was saying before about being a minority and a woman, not only are you bashing her in that sense, but then you're bashing how she looks. That's already an issue too, and you just keep. It's just
a mass list of how wrong this could be.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, now we move on to another controversial figure, Rachel Dolezal, the former NAACP leader who was unmasked as a white woman in 2015. She has been attacked on Twitter after claiming that, quote, the idea of race is a lie. Dolezal claimed that ethnicity is not biological and compared being, quote-unquote, transracial to being transgender in an interview with BBC's Newsnight on Monday. Following the interview, Twitter users criticized Dolezal's comments, accusing her of using white privilege to make her arguments. Dolezal said in the interview, quote, gender is understood, we've progressed, we've evolved to understanding that gender is not binary. What do you guys make of the term transracial? This is a new one for me. I've seen some weird things in my lifetime.
Confused.
This is up there.
Okay, well, I'm so
God bless this generation.
Conflicted. I'm very conflicted because we have transgendered, and you can make the exact same argument for transracial.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
It's not a problem. It's just this is the situation that's been fabricated by media and situations such as the shining the light on transgender people and giving them the outlet to speak their mind. It's like, why can't different races do the same thing? It's just, it's absurd to us because we've been used to the norm of just strict race. But
like,
she makes a point, I guess.
I don't understand how do you feel a race? Like, I understand how you feel a gender. You feel a woman. That makes more sense to me than feeling black or feeling white or feeling Asian. It doesn't make sense to me.
Then again, we have to go to, like, we don't know how it feels to be a different gender. So we can't really.
Yeah, but gender to me isn't the same argument. Do you feel white? Like, what does that mean? Like,
I don't know what it means, but at the same time, how do you know you feel the opposite gender? Like, how would you know you feel the opposite gender unless you're that person?
I feel like that makes more sense.
It's such a
fine line. Like, it's such
this
a fine line.
This woman has been a meme for 3 years now. Let's just keep her running.
No, I don't want to. Get her away. No,
I tried.
No, I don't think so. I think she's just like trying to become this person who she's not even. Yeah. She's not even like she's making up these things.
She was. What was her position?
NAACP president.
She was, but she was removed because she technically wasn't black.
Yeah. Right. So she lied on documents.
No, she lied.
She lied on documents.
Didn't her parents come out and say something like on national TV and
this was a while ago. I don't remember, but I think we all agree this is just it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't confuse.
None of us here understand it. Maybe you at home understand it. We don't know. Coming up next, we will be talking about Lamar Odom. He's back in the news and learning how to cure a hangover. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is the Lakeside View.
Did you go already?
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
My name is Owen Gallagher, and I'm the producer of Sports Hub. On the show, we'll have a wide variety of analysts across all leagues. Make sure that you're up to date on all the latest sports news. Every other Monday nights at 10 o'clock.
And welcome back to the Lakeside View. Lamar Odom told Us Weekly he has a host of regrets, including cheating on former wife Khloe Kardashian. He said, quote, "If there's one thing I regret when I was married, it was having multiple affairs with different women. Odom revealed to the publication he suffered 12 strokes and 2 heart attacks after he was found unresponsive in a brothel. Odom said Kardashian disapproved of his drug use. She was the first person he saw when he emerged from his coma, and she played a huge role in helping him regain his memory. Odom said her efforts were about support, not rekindling their romance. Kardashian refiled for divorce in May of 2016. What did you guys make of this interview?
This man is a walking dare program.
100%.
You're not wrong.
In one of the articles, he said cocaine made him lose his drive to train. Like that's something like a teacher would have like told. Like if you do drugs, you're not gonna be able to perform well. Like,
but props to Khloe Kardashian for like sticking by him, even though she the relationship wasn't there. At least she was still able to help him rehabilitate, and go back into his normal life. Because without a support group or someone to support you, it's kind of hard to go back into normal life after having a coma. It's very hard. So for her to do that, props to her. Even though there wasn't, she still loves him, but it's not more of like a relationship at this point.
She's been there a lot for him. Yeah. Even if you watch the show, I don't really much anymore, but I seldomly put it on. There was an episode recently where she's still like,
I can't.
What? She's still like his medical contact and stuff. She makes sure that he's okay, but he's like lucky to have her.
I'm just over 100%. The Kardashians. Just enough.
I just feel you not feeling this.
Enough. I feel like this is a publicity stunt. We knew this was happening. Come on now. I feel like you're just coming out just so you want more attention or
100%.
or attention for the Kardashians. I'm just really.
Obviously, yeah, he's definitely using them as a leg, just like Scott is, and just like everybody
else.
Yeah,
like when he said, he's I was having multiple affairs with different women. Yeah, we knew that. That's old news. So I just feel like this interview is just
he's something else. This guy,
just a publicity stunt, for him and for the Kardashians. So I'm over it. Bye. Next.
I mean, just the Kardashians to me.
Controversy. That's the name that comes to mind.
It never ends. There's always something.
It's nonsense.
Especially, I feel like the older sisters. They're always going through something. Kim had the robbery a couple months ago.
Did you watch the episode?
Oh, I watched the episode.
I didn't yet.
Oh my God.
No spoilers, please.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I feel like it's pretty spoiled. I feel like we know.
I just know duct tape was involved, and
it was a very genuine. Out of all the Kardashian episodes I have watched, and I don't watch many because it's the Kardashians.
I don't believe you.
But I did watch that
I
because
don't believe you.
It's true. But that felt very genuine to me. She's not a good actor. We've seen her in movies, like Disaster Movie. She is not a good actress. So the way she was telling the story of the robbery, it was actually very heartfelt, and I felt that, and that was probably the most genuine episode they probably ever aired, because it actually happened, and I feel that was the best episode.
I mean, I give props to you for giving the Kardashians a sense of credit for really anything. Okay, we now move on. In case you were wondering what actually causes a hangover, it's because alcohol is a diuretic, so it makes you pee more often, making you dehydrated. Now, a recent article from The Mirror came out, and it listed some tips on how to cure a hangover. So ready for this, guys? First tip, drink loads of water. Okay? Second tip, take ibuprofen. Third tip, eat lots of sugary food and take antacid. And number 4, your lunchtime solution is actually bouillon soup. Number 5, if you give it a good 48 hours before your next drinking session, you guys will be all set. All right? At least 48 hours before you go again.
You don't have to tell me twice.
I mean, okay. I don't know. I don't want to judge. I don't know what level drinkers we are.
They missed one huge thing, sleep. You need to sleep. Because I feel like sleep is the best thing to cure it, because it takes a lot of time to sleep. It's 5 hours you can sleep, and that's 5 hours of the hangover that you won't have. So I think that was probably the biggest thing that they missed. But mainly, they got most of it.
They got most. Were you rating them?
I'm rating them.
I scale 1 to 10. I'll give it a 7. They could have added some stuff, but
it could have been better.
It could have been better.
My go-home-to remedy is a Long Island egg sandwich.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Long Island iced tea.
I thought that too.
Just wake up and keep drinking.
Alcohol.
Girl, I mean, sometimes they say that works too. Just keep drinking.
Hey, I love egg sandwiches.
Please.
But
don't you love it when people say, "Oh, I don't get hangers"? Girl, you will. Just wait. When you're in your old age, you will. Apparently.
Just wait.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Apparently you do. Yes, that is true.
So watch out.
Watch it.
I mean, I literally know nothing about this. This is not
so young.
My area. I don't know if
it's coming for you. Let me tell you.
It's just it's like Jaws. It's just waiting underneath the water. Yep, it's just building up. I could go for an egg sandwich. We could talk.
Long
I could
Island-
talk about
come
that for
on.
30 minutes easy.
They're the best.
Oh my gosh.
All the Long Island crew too up here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's our go-to? Mine's ham, egg, and cheese. That's my number one.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Bacon,
Sausage,
all right.
egg, and cheese.
Ooh, sausage.
Sausage, egg, and cheese.
We got
100%.
2 sausages, a bacon, and a ham. Okay. I feel like we should make that a Twitter question. I feel like that could.
Yeah, it's a Twitter poll.
Twitter
Let's make
poll.
It that.
We're gonna make the-
Vote now.
We're making that a Twitter poll. All right. Well, let's move on now to a different topic. IHOP.
The IHOP man.
The IHOP story.
man.
So apparently there was a waiter. I don't know where this was. Do you have the article in front of you?
Yes, I do. Right here. Springfield, Illinois.
Right. Springfield, Illinois. This man, Joe Thomas. Now, he's worked at IHOP for 11 years, and he has a couple that visits him at IHOP, and one of the women, the women in the couple, the wife.
The wife had Huntington's disease.
She has Huntington's disease,
which is a it
genetic
decreases your brain cells. It literally kills your brain cells as you keep living.
Right.
Basically.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Basically, this man he's been working there forever, and he says like he knows all of his regulars and all of the people that come in. And he
Very
loves
nice
to
guy.
work everyone, and it's just really like humble and
sincere
to see that this man like cares so much about his job. And though people may see it as like a mediocre job, but this guy really cares about what he's doing and who he sees and who he helps.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about his job, it's about the people that he sees and he wants to help out, and he's genuinely humble about it. Like, he just wants to be helped. Like, it said in the article that, he was raised that way, but he had 2 parents who were both sick, and he just, it was natural to him. And that's what I thought it was so compelling.
He reminds me of a quote by Gandhi. I am smart sometimes.
I never said you were.
Gandhi once said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." So he kind of like has that pay it forward type of mentality going on. And if you're wondering why I put emphasis on the pay it forward, there will be a show on tonight at 9:30. Pay it forward.
Well, technically this is at 10, so this was a half hour ago.
Right. Thank you for watching Pay It Forward. Now you're watching the Lakeside View.
But what I do have to say is that it was very nice to hear this story. It was very heartfelt, and I feel that for someone to do that and take time out of the day, that's just faith in humanity restored.
Yes,
just a little bit.
I
But
agree.
it's very nice to hear like some of these nice
In a
stories.
world that we're living in now, filled with such like turmoil and like controversy and stuff like that, there's still like really genuine people
There are
out there.
people there. There are people that do
We
care.
should definitely like.
And
follow
on that
his
note,
footsteps.
we want to thank you again for joining us for episode 2, guys. This was a blast
It was
yet
awesome.
again. Stay tuned for the fast break. Not fast break. What's next? Inside the Club. That's what's next.
We know it.
Have a great night, everybody. Take care.
Night.
I am the Spirit of Defense. Say the name of Arbor and raise thy aegis.
All right. Aegis! No? I'm gonna cut it down.
All right, buddy, stop. No. Listen, there's goblins behind us, and I am a 20 HP wizard with Squishy, and I want to fight both goblins on like some vine thing.
Listen, I got health potions!
Health potions don't matter when you're dead!
Guys, can we just stop
I don't
arguing?
want them to die!
We don't have a lot of time. They're gonna come over.
What up, it's your man Flo Rida, and right now you got it locked to WTOP.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach reemployment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community.